Hey everyone, welcome into Dynasty League Dynamo. My name is James. This is the inaugural video for this channel. I've been writing about Dynasty football for 10 years now. I've been playing it for 15, 16 years. I've got a lot of knowledge and experience that I'm looking to help pass on to the community. I really want to have these videos be more of an engagement. I love Dynasty football. It's 80% of what I do during my free time, I'd say. That and my comic books is an entire comic book room. You guys are seeing just one little wall of it. But yeah, I really love Dynasty football. I typically go look for orphans. That's my favorite thing to do. Find an orphan, give me a terrible team, let me flip that team over, see how fast I can do it, and typically win the championship, and then I'm out. So this is going to be the first video. We're going to talk about Week 8 waiver wire claims, and I'm going to go a little bit over my strategy. I'm going to do a video about this, but I'm going to touch on it just a little bit here. So strategy for me with Dynasty football is the motto I live by. I'd rather be a year too early than a year too late. I do that with all my trades. I would much rather trade a player a year too early, lose out on a 1 year of production, then wait an extra season, that player falls off the cliff, and his value just tanks down. I don't want to do that. It's not smart to do that. Trade them a year too early, and the waivers are the same thing. Put those claims in a week or two too early than too late. If you're like me and you're active on your waiver wire, you're going to always be picking at the end. So if you're picking at the end constantly and something happens, someone blows up or an injury happens, you're not even going to be in position to grab this guy anyway. So grab him early. Like this offseason, my whole strategy this offseason was give me Devontae Booker, give me Darrell Williams, and Damian Williams. I targeted all three of those guys in my main leagues. They were all free. They were all sitting on waiver wire all offseason. I grabbed all three. I still have Booker. But both of the Williams I traded. As soon as injuries happened, they were gone. I traded them for draft picks and IDP help, which is what I needed at the time. So that's what I would do. That's what you should be doing, honestly, if you're looking to build and constantly. Like, I look at these players as resources. Just keep flipping them. So let's get into Week 8 waiver wire selections. Our first one, the ship has sailed on this player. He's the only one on this list where you're not jumping in a week too early. Like, if he's still there, you need to go get him. And that's Kendrick Bourne, receiver from the Patriots. Kendrick is actually the wide receiver 24 since week 3 in full PPR. They paid him in the offseason. He's getting involved creatively in that offense. He's got the attention of Mac Jones. I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't think he's going to keep up wide receiver 24 numbers the rest of the way. I could be wrong. But even if he doesn't, and he's a solid wide receiver 3 flex play, just sitting on your bench, you could do a lot worse, especially during the bye weeks, especially with injuries. Go grab him now. Another receiver to look at, played last night. He did not look good. He looked like it was his first game of the season, and that's Trequan Smith. There was a little bit of a scuffle between Trequan and Jameis on the sidelines. Hopefully that brings them closer together moving forward. Trequan's got a track record in New Orleans. You know he likes to go in deep. And you know, like, Jameis likes to throw the deep ball. He's been conservative this year, but he's thrown it a few times. And if you can get Trequan now, don't wait for him to have a blow-up week, because it's probably going to happen. He does it every season. Trequan has a week every season where he goes berserk. And once that happens, he's going to be waiver wire claim number 1. You know it, I know it. Thomas isn't going to be back for 2-3 weeks. Grab him now. If he blows up next week, you have a couple options. You can keep him, obviously, if you need a receiver. Or if you're like what I would do, as soon as he blows up, shop him to a receiver-needy team, and he's gone. Cascade him into future draft picks, something else you might need. The next 2 guys are both running backs, and this is kind of similar, the same kind of message. Like, get these guys now before something else happens. Tony Jones, backup for the Saints. He's been on IR, out of sight, out of mind. No one's even talking about Tony Jones, but he was preseason wonder boy. He beat out Latavius Murray for that backup spot. And if you watch Monday Night Football, you see just how heavily involved Kamara is. He's 95% of their offense. They lose Kamara, like they're probably done. But if Kamara were to go down for a week or two, Tony Jones immediately is the number one waiver claim that week and has RB1 upside for as long as Kamara's out. So grab him. Grab him now before something happens. If something, and we're not wishing injury on running backs, nothing like that, or any player, but it's just the nature of the game. It happens, and it happens frequently. This season, more than any other, you've seen running backs go down. So grab Jones now. He's sitting on waivers, 1. He's going to cost you nothing, 2. And if something were to happen, you're going to have RB1 upside. So just grab him now. And you can, like I said, you can ride him out for 2-3 weeks at that RB1 upside, or shop him. I mean, we're getting into the bye weeks. Teams who thought they were going to compete, but they're not really doing too well. I mean, there's so many ways to capitalize on players when they do have these blow-up opportunities. There's no long-term value with Tony Jones. It's this season only, which is great if you're in a redraft, but if you're in Dynasty and something were to happen to Kamara and Jones has value for 3 weeks, maybe use him for a game and then flip him. Get out, get long-term assets. That's what you should be doing. The fourth guy, which second running back, is going to be Salvador Ahmad. It's the same situation. Malcolm Brown just went down, speaking of injuries. So Ahmad's now sliding up the depth chart. Ahmad's gotten 17, 18 touches in the last 2 weeks. Gaskin has been so up and down all season long. Like I don't know what's going on with Gaskin in that offense. But Ahmad played really well for them last year, down the stretch. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that Ahmad eats into that backfield even more now that Brown's gone. And if something were to happen to Gaskin, you have an RB2, RB3 immediately in Ahmad, which he proved last year. He had some really good, he won people some playoff games last year. So grab Ahmad, grab Jones, keep him on your bench, see what happens. You're not losing anything other than a roster spot. And if you're not thinking like that, you need to change your mindset. It's just a roster spot. You should always have like 2 or 3 spots at the bottom of your roster. Don't be married to them. That's my mind. I'm not married to these last 3 spots. If I can just keep flipping that over, that's what I'm going to do. So put a claim in, grab Ahmad, grab Jones, see what happens. Last one. This one's foreshadowing a couple weeks. It's Foster Moreau, tight end for the Raiders. Waller should be back. He's day-to-day. They have a week 8 bye. So he should be back. But we've seen injury setbacks happen before. And if something were to happen to Waller while he's recovering, Moreau has instant starting prospects. It's the only way to really put it. Tight end is a sad state of affairs for all of us. If you don't have one of those top 3 or 4 guys, it's a wrap. You are starting garbage mostly. And you're just streaming. You're streaming to the best of your abilities on a week in, week out basis, hoping and praying that your matchup hits. But Moreau, week 7, he caught all 6 of his targets, 60 yards and a touchdown. Carr goes to his tight end, and tight end is ingrained in that offense based on Waller. So if Waller's not there, Foster's going to put up starting quality numbers. Grab him now. Don't wait till we find out in week 8 on a Tuesday that, Waller had a setback and he's going to miss week 9. Like, don't wait for that to happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but the off chance that it does, you're going to look way smarter than the rest of your league. Get in front of this stuff. If you can get in front of injuries and get in front of bye weeks and all of that good stuff, that's going to set you up. Like, in-season management for your team, whether it be Dynasty or redraft, in-season management will make or break you. So I'm going to be doing another video like this for IDP, Week 8 waiver wire. There's a few names on the IDP that I'm a little bit more interested in than on the offense. I feel like there's some immediate starters that are still sitting out there. So be on the lookout for that if you play IDP. I only play IDP, and I only play full IDP. My leagues are either 9 to 11 starters on IDP. So I'm constantly churning out and looking for starters on the waiver wire for IDP. So I've got a nice little list. So check that video out. If you like the content, please like, subscribe, comment. I love to engage. Like I mentioned in the beginning, fantasy football is 80% of my free time. You know, I eat, breathe, sleep fantasy football, especially Dynasty. So if any questions, anything I can help you with, I gotta really enjoy just talking about fantasy football, helping people out, talking trades, who you should go after. So if you have any questions, please comment. I'll be sure to get back to you, and be on the lookout for future videos. All right, thanks. See ya.